Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Got a new video for you guys today. If you guys were on my channel yesterday we did a partial reaction to a video from a content creator named Georgia Dow. This is part 2 to that reaction. This is us talking about her reaction and breakdown of the full moon episode of Helluva Boss, the newest episode, which talks about Blitz and Stolas. And while we were going back and forth talking about both characters, the end of the last episode, we really got into Stolas, and I gave my feelings and experiences on situations like that. For anybody that, if you just stumbled on this video, I am not a professional, but I've just been through a lot. So talking about my real world experience along with Georgia's professional opinions of these characters, it can give another set of insight. I've gotten some really nice comments on some of the other reactions to her stuff that I've done, even from her herself, where hearing it from someone who's lived a real world version of some of these things can really give another spin on it. So that's why I continue to do these. And this is the second half of the episode. If you guys want to see the first half, that will be linked in the description. But this is taking off right from where we ended the last one, and I'm going to be talking a lot more about Blitz because the ending scene of this episode really hit me, but not for the reasons you might think. So if you guys enjoyed this kind of video, drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let's jump in and finish the episode.
I've made up my mind.
Stolas, please, I need...
As you can see, we're taking off literally right where we left off the last episode.
this book.
This is an Asmodean crystal. You will be able to go anywhere you want in the human realm. You no longer need my grimoire.
What?
You no longer have any obligation to see me, to touch me, to bed me. You are free of me.
I don't understand. Why are you giving me this?
Like, that's just so beautiful for Stolas to do this. I think that for Blitz, he can't even comprehend that someone would give him something, not only for no cost, but it's a huge cost to Stolas. He loses everything that he cares about, which is pretty much everything about Blitz. I don't think anyone in Blitz's life has made such a gift to him, an offering of love.
If you guys watched my reaction to the first half, the end of it, I damn near started breaking down. I'm still recovering because, like I said, this is recorded right after the last one. The amount of strength it took for Stolas to do this is astronomical to me, and it's so well written because I've been there where I made a sacrifice for somebody I cared about and hoped that it would mean something, and it didn't go well. And that really, when you put yourself out there like that, when you put that much effort into somebody, it's horrifying. It's terrifying the way it could potentially go.
And care. And so a lot of people, even if they're good at giving gifts, have a really hard time receiving them.
Yup.
That they don't feel worthy, or they don't feel like they deserve that, or that there are no gifts that come without some sort of cost that will be asked of them. And
Also
so it's
true.
really hard to receive it. For some people, it's even hard to receive a compliment. They can give them, but they can't receive them.
Am I not, like, getting you good enough? Because I can always do better.
He feels hurt. He feels this rejection. He's giving the only thing that he thinks someone would want of him, which is sex. All of his Instagram posts, he likes them and he comments on them, and no doubt he's very invested in his life, but he can't even take that in.
A big reason I wanted to react to this episode, and it's coming now, is I want to hear her thoughts on the final scene, because I want to see if she sees it the way I did or if she sees it the way most other people did, and I'll get to that when we get there.
And I don't even think that he's aware of his feelings for Stolas go much deeper than doing this as a transaction for the grimoire. We're so blinded to the stuff that's right in front of us because we don't believe that that could be possible. And that's common for people, that they believe that whatever they've gone through, whatever kind of traumas, if you've gone through sexual trauma, it can mean that you believe that that's the only thing that you have to offer because that's the link to your pain and that's a part of your fear set.
I'm giving you this because I care very deeply for you. But this transactional thing we have, it's not right anymore. It hasn't been. All I can see is how wrong it is to be so tethered to someone in such an unfair way and not know how they feel.
He never asked also because he was scared of the response. And I think that probably Blitz wasn't even aware, and I don't think that he would have given him the response that he had hoped for, but I think that this response that is true for Blitz. I think that both of them were so scared of the answer that neither of them asked. And for some people, they don't even know how they feel themselves, that they are so shut out from their own emotions, their own feelings. They're so stuck in just doing what they have to do, or they fill themselves with hobbies or work to avoid knowing how they feel, that they aren't even aware.
You don't have to stay here with me, but I want you to. I want you to stay here with me because you want to. Only if you want to.
Okay, all right, you're with me.
And the reason that he did this, one, is because his defense mechanisms came back up. Here he is in a very deep emotional situation. For a lot of people, it's so hard to be intimate that even seeing someone else go through something that is deep and painful, they may have a anxiety response to it. And so for this, it's a deflection. Sometimes people might laugh or might avoid or might change the conversation because it's too close to home, it's too close to their heart, and they're not comfortable with that.
I did this a lot where I would kind of use comedy, and obviously it's Blitz is using sexuality. When somebody would insult me, when somebody would say something that would actually emotionally affect me, rather than show it on my face or say something about it, I would make a joke out of it. I got into a fight with my daughter where it's funny because I say that a lot, I just realized. But we got into a fight where she was talking about how she'd rather hang out with her friends than me, and I turned it into a joke about me being boring and kind of laughed it off. When it's just, I like it when she spends time with me, but I get it, she's also a teenage girl. And it's just, when you think about the habits that you have, especially when it's to protect yourself or protect people from people getting at the real you, you notice a lot more how much you hide the real you. I have a friend of mine who's also been through a lot, and something happened where she was really emotional and really upset and refused to talk about it. Obviously, nobody wants to talk about stuff when something they're not comfortable about talking about, but she played it off like it was a joke over and over again. And that's another example of what Blitz is doing.
And so for Blitz, like, Stolas pretty much directly put his heart out on a plate for him. And Blitz is so stuck inside of his own recording, the things that he says inside of his head, that this couldn't be true. It has to be a joke. It has to be a role play. It has to be something fake, because there's no way that someone could care about me so much and mean it.
This is an interesting role play. Never done this one, but I can get into it. All right, how's this? Oh, Stolas, I'll stay with you. I love you so much.
Thank you, Blitz, for awakening me, for making me so happy.
For Stolas, like, I get it. When you've put your heart out on a plate and someone else then comes back, which he interprets as being mocked. He thinks he's being made fun of. For Blitz, he isn't. He doesn't understand this at all. He was truly thinking that this must be a sexual role play, that this is what you want, and so he'll play the game, because it couldn't be anything else. He didn't mean it to make fun of him. He didn't mean it to mock. But for Stolas, this was his answer. He must not actually want to be there. And I love that Stolas was able to say no and accept it and move on. Stolas is really good with being able to accept a no or a bad reaction from someone and just move on. Because for Stolas, he's so good at sharing and being direct with his emotions that why wouldn't he answer that? He can't even see that this is defense mechanism for Blitz. And so because of that, he moves on. And he's very good at accepting answers he doesn't like. And you can see
She's kind of starting to lean toward the point that I was going to make about Blitz and Stolas, but let's let her cook.
Blitz's eyes, like, he's completely confused with why Stolas doesn't like this. He always has. He likes the role play. He enjoys the sex. Why is he saying no to this? And he sees that as rejection. So they both feel rejected in this moment, but for completely wrong reasons. They're both misinterpreting, not giving the benefit of doubt, or even thinking that there could be a different possibility to why each are reacting this way. And for Stolas, he reacts by leaving and letting it go, and Blitz, as always, reacts with anger and frustration.
I wish you the best with your business.
Wait, what? You were serious?
I have my answer, Blitz. The fact that you couldn't believe that I might have these feelings about you, that your first instinct is that it's always about sex. That's enough.
I'm sorry, this part just, it really, really just upsets me. Because Stolas cares so much about Blitz, but I couldn't help but feel like he was being selfish here. I just couldn't. He was so wrapped up in his own feelings. You see, you hear what he's saying, how I have my answer. You know, you couldn't believe that I really cared about you. All I could think about, and maybe it's because I've lived through so much trauma, or because I've had people I care about go through so much trauma, that Stolas, you care so goddamn much, but you couldn't think of the why Blitz is reacting that way. You were so blinded by your own emotions that you didn't care about the why Blitz wouldn't believe you. It's not that Blitz doesn't care. Ugh, you get what I'm saying. Like, this is why I get upset watching this scene.
To know what this is.
What?
And sometimes we use other things to avoid things. It doesn't mean that the other things aren't real, but often we will stay within whatever is our comfort zone. And that's the thing that we gain skill in. The problem is that if we don't go outside of our comfort zone, we don't gain skill in other techniques or emotional intimacies or other parts of our personality that we're not as good at.
You, Stolas, you spring this feelings on me. Are you kidding? Can I get a minute to think after everything you put me through, you pompous, rich...
And though the way that he's handling it is completely wrong, but that request of give me some time to be able to process this, and it can feel to someone avoidant. So someone that's anxiously attached, they want to get over everything right away. They want to discuss everything right away. They want an answer right away. For people that are more avoidant, they need time to be able to kind of chew on things and to be able to discuss things. But for Blitz, he probably should have asked for that. Asked to be able to have some moments to be able to think about this and process it in his own time. So what I would have said is that for Blitz, he should have said, this is a lot for me. I didn't know this. I wasn't aware. Can I have some time? Let someone know what you want. Can I come back? And then give a time when you're going to come back, and then make sure that you come back. Can I think about it for an hour or two, or can I think about it for a day? This doesn't mean I don't want this, but I just don't know because it's so much. And that's not rejection. You might come to the same conclusion, but you need to think it over, and I think that that's fair. But of course, Blitz reacts as he does where he's comfortable, which is in anger, and by attacking the thing that he feels confused by. Yes, I think Stolas would have felt rejected and upset, but...
So obviously, I really felt for Blitz when he said, give me a minute to process this. You basically just told him that you love him, and he just couldn't handle all that at once. But then Blitzo insulting Stolas, like, we've never seen Stolas put Blitz through anything. Bro, you had sex, whoop-de-doo, that's all he did for you. And the amount of times that Stolas has saved Blitz, the amount of care and empathy Stolas has tried to show, Blitz attacking Stolas wasn't him talking about Stolas. It was talking about all the other higher-ups that treat him and other imps like trash. He was projecting his pain. But Stolas didn't even care. He was so wrapped up in his own hurt that Blitz went out the window. And that's so hard to deal with. And maybe it's because I'm the kind of person I am. Me and my fiance almost never fight. Like, and I'm not bragging. I mean, we seriously never fight. I can't. The last time we fought was 3 years ago, I think. Because whenever there's a problem, I try to keep myself calm, because I know if I react in an emotional way, I'm going to do something I don't mean because I'm feeling emotional. In this case, Blitz doesn't feel that way about Stolas, but he's emotional right now, and lashing out. You have to be able to see how the other person's feeling and why the other person's reacting a certain way, so that way you can actually properly handle it. Neither one of them handled it well. The only reason I lean so much toward Blitz is because I've been in Blitz's shoes, where nobody cared about me when I finally couldn't handle it anymore. Why is it when I am upset I don't want to be near anybody, as opposed to going to my partner and venting? Why is it that somebody flirts with a bunch of people? Because they want to be accepted and they crave that attention. Like, everybody has their issues, but unless you're willing to see things from their point of view, like really see it, you're always going to think that there's something wrong with them. And in this case, Stolas couldn't help but feel like Blitz just didn't care. Like, Blitz didn't care about Stolas' feelings, that he was just rejecting Stolas, instead of why Blitz was reacting the way he was. If he had just waited a few more moments before kicking Blitz out of the house, this whole conversation might have gone different.
It wouldn't be what happened in this situation. I think that it's hard when someone doesn't feel exactly as sure as where you are, that we can feel really hurt about that and just want to destroy everything because it's too painful. Not everyone processes things at exactly the same pace. And it's also not fair because Stolas is good with processing his feelings and Blitz is not. It doesn't mean that they might not both end up at the same place.
You can't just dismiss me like that. I mean, you royal think you
See?
can do this
See?
every time. Like, you can just play with our feelings because we're smaller and not as important.
And here,
Right there, he's not talking about Stolas. He's not. And you could see it all over his face and the things that are coming out of his mouth. And the fact that he's crying. Blitz crying. Crazy.
all of the stuff that is inside of his head, the way that he interprets these situations, because this is the way that he sees it, which is completely not the way that Stolas sees it. But it's kind of all coming out because he's so angry and frustrated, and probably also this is masking his fear.
Well, I'm not letting you. Let's go!
And actually, he wants to fight it out or talk about it or deal with it. He doesn't want it to just be over. Now he's doing it in the exact opposite way that he should. You should not be insulting, you should not be yelling, you should not be calling each other names. But at least he wants to deal with it. And Stolas just hears all of the words that Blitz said out of anger, and he gets stuck. He got fixated upon those, and those are all that he heard. That also happens, especially when we're feeling sensitive and hurt. We hear the things filtered through the facets of our fear, and it's almost like the words become kind of bigger or like bold, and that's all that we hear. Those words, not the reasons of why they were said. And though you should not say rude or mean words, the why you said them are more important than the words themselves.
I really like that, because I've always said it before, that people hear what they want to hear. When you're upset, it's like when somebody says nice things to you, people take compliments like, oh yeah, thank you. But when somebody says something negative about you, or like insults you, your intelligence, insults the way you look, that stuff sticks with you because of stuff like that. But a lot of people say when you're angry, you say things you really mean, but that's not true. It twists it. It distorts what you're trying to say. So it's hard to separate, to be objective when somebody's angry with you, because a lot of times when they're angry, whether it's with you or with something else, they're going to say things they don't mean, and they're going to regret it later. That's why it's hard when you're the angry one, because you have to remember that sometimes when you say something, you can't take it back.
Should be careful, words do hurt, but why we do things,
My bad.
is what matters. And I think that that's, again, them missing each other.
The why. She does get it.
I think so very highly of you. I didn't realize you think so low of me. Goodbye, Blitz.
And Blitz is not used to that kind of reaction. Usually when someone's angry, and especially with everyone that he hangs around with, anger is responded with anger. And then they fight it out, and then they work it out. And then everything is okay afterwards. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Like when the chin quiver, that's that really deep cry that you kind of can't control. And he's trying to control himself the best that he can, but he can't. Because the way that Blitz sees him the way that he believes Blitz sees him, is so untrue to what he thinks that he had projected and shown to Blitz.
Stolas, wait!
What the?
And that moment, one is just like floored me. I think that I felt
me
the
too.
same way that Blitz feels, because he's about to say I'm sorry, which I think is a lot for Blitz. For Stolas, he just sent him away without any closure, that was as much as Stolas could handle.
This part hurt me so goddamn much.
What an episode. So that's a little bit about this devastating episode of Stolas and Blitz and where they are now and the psychology of what I think brought both of them to this point. And also, if you want the uncensored version, you can head on over to Nebula. You can let me know your thoughts of what are going to happen going forward and how you felt about this episode.
I was gonna close out the screen anyway, but I accidentally clicked on something else, so I didn't get to let her finish. Yeah, that last part really got to me because, again, I get that Stolas was upset, but he just wasn't hearing Blitz. If he had taken a look at Blitz, he obviously was emotional, so he couldn't keep it objective. But if he had to objectively listen to Blitz talking about all the other higher-ups, he would have realized that Blitz wasn't talking specifically about him. And if he had just given Blitz the chance to talk too, instead of just sending him away, who knows where they would be right now. Sometimes when somebody reacts a certain way about something, you have to think about the why. People, you don't know everybody's story, you don't know all the things they've been through, and you don't know why they are the way they are. All you can do is try and be empathetic. And I know it's hard to be the bigger man when you're upset, or a bigger woman, but if you can maintain some semblance of, not yourself, but some semblance of control when you're arguing with somebody, when you're fighting with somebody, when they're being emotional, when you're being emotional, it can go a long way. And it can save relationships. Anyway, guys, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you guys want to check out the original video without my pausing, my commentary, link to the original down below. Of course, support Georgia Dow. She's amazing. She's so insightful, and I love her work. I actually wanted to check out her Luna video because Luna's my favorite Helluva Boss character. So if you guys want to see me react to that, let me know down in the comments. If you guys want to see part 1 of this, if you stumbled upon part 2 and you watched it this far, link is in the description so you can watch both parts. Sorry, they're both a little bit longer, but this was a longer video that we're reacting to. If you guys want to check me out on social media, those links will be down below. Stay strong, my friends. I love y'all, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Later.